Welcome back to Top 10 Nerd, I'm Rob McKenzie. We've seen some pretty ridiculous villains, and they've done some pretty ridiculous things. There are some plans that we've seen villains put into action that are just plain weird, whether or not they actually succeed. Even some of the best villains ever have their fair share of crap plans, so let's learn about them. Here are the top 10 weirdest supervillain plans. Number 10. Super Porno. After Darkseid banished his minion SLEEZ to Earth for being too messed up even for Darkseid, SLEEZ formulated a fitting plan of his own, and it was weird. He kidnapped Big Barda, wife of Mr. Miracle, by hypnotizing her and making her dance for him. Then he hypnotizes Superman and plans to make a sex tape with the two of them to make enough money to build an army. And let's be real, we'd all buy that sex tape. Luckily, Mr. Miracle beats SLEEZ before things could get too crazy. This was just such a weird plan, and it actually very nearly worked. He would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddling Mr. Miracle. Number 9. KRAVEN'S final hunt. I've talked about this before, but this is one plan that was as epic as it was weird, and I love Kraven. As Kraven the Hunter aged, he realized that he wouldn't be able to continue his villainy forever, so he shoots and buries Spider-Man, then goes on to take on the role of Spider-Man and does a better job than Peter anyway. Then when Peter comes back to life, Kraven kills himself, having accomplished what he intended. So his plan was to defeat Spider-Man, become an awesome hero, then pass the mantle back to Peter when he returned. Weird, but he did it, and it's a pretty awesome end to Kraven. I mean, he didn't stay dead, but it was still great. Number 8. Switching bodies with a blind guy. In Daredevil number 37, Dr. Doom came up with the genius plan to switch bodies with a superhero to infiltrate and take out the Fantastic Four. But he made a few mistakes. The first was switching places with Daredevil, who is blind. So he loses a bunch of his own powers and gains the inability to see. So far so good, Doc. But then he doesn't even tell his henchmen about it, so when Daredevil awakens in Dr. Doom's body, he goes, "Hey guys, let me out," and they do. He even takes advantage of Doom's diplomatic immunity. When Doom realized Daredevil had escaped, he went after him, and Daredevil just wrecked him. Doom didn't even get to the Fantastic Four. You know, for a smart guy, it was a pretty stupid plan. Number 7. Green Goblin messes with Peter's head. Okay, so this one is absurdly convoluted because it's full of retcons and changes and after-the-fact alterations, but I'll try to give a description of what supposedly happened. Green Goblin wanted to mess with Spider-Man, so he created a clone of him, for some reason thinking doubling his enemy is a good idea, and then the clone became a drifter. Then he convinced Peter that he himself was the clone by faking some blood tests, which would supposedly make him doubt his own past, and Peter was weirded out for a bit, but then he found out the truth and everything went back to normal. Good job, Norm. Now, to give the writers a little bit of credit, they had kind of written themselves into a corner and had to come up with an explanation to please the fans, but that's a lot of work to make someone confused for a bit. Number 6. Wooing Aunt May. Yep, I'm sure some of you saw this one coming. When Peter Parker's Aunt May inherited a fully functional nuclear plant, Doc Ock decided he wanted it. So did he steal it? Did he hold it captive until he got it? No, he tried to marry her so that he could legally be in possession of weapons he wanted to use to win a crime war. Now, of course, he didn't manage to marry her thanks to Spider-Man, but it's a great example of taking the long way around to reach your goal, and fail hard. Number 5. Batman the Eligible Bachelor. Turns out marriage is a pretty common tool for supervillains. I'm still convinced my girlfriend's only with me for some sort of evil scheme. In this issue, a group of criminals spent $1 million, which was a lot of money at the time, to advertise that Batman wants to get married, apparently under the impression that if Batman got married, he'd quit heroics and just sit in a lazy boy for the rest of his life. So, of course, the ladies went wild. In the end, the woman the criminals had hired to woo Bats actually fell in love with him, and who wouldn't, and helped Batman beat the criminals. So not only did the plan not work, but the criminals were out $1 million. Sucks to be them. Number 4. Copyright Jokerfish. This one was weird, and not just because it was one of Joker's plans. This happened in the comics and in the animated series. Joker poisoned the water in Gotham so that the fish in the water became pale with big smiles. I know what you're thinking, oh no, poisonous fish! Nope, they were totally safe to eat. His plan was to copyright the fish and then get money every time one was sold in the city.
This could cause a stampede to pork.
Needless to say, this didn't work, but fun fact, this isn't actually that far-fetched. While it likely wouldn't work with fish, you can copyright a makeup style, so you could arguably do something like this. But yeah, this plan was just weird, even by Joker standards. Number 3. Raising the price of milk so America gets weak. In Sensation Comics number 7, Wonder Woman fought against a Nazi group who planned to make the citizens of the United States weak by raising the price of milk. Yep. Turns out they brought a woman back from the dead, bought out a bunch of milk companies, and raised the price of milk. So that way the kids would go without milk, and in 20 years the US forces would be weakened. The biggest question is, if the Nazis have the power to bring someone back to life, why do they have to use such a stupid and complicated plan to defeat the US? Seriously, there's no way that's the best you've got. Now, it goes without saying that Wonder Woman kicked butt and made milk cheap again. Now, there's a campaign slogan. Number 2, bringing back the beard. Okay, this one is just completely ridiculous. Not only is the plan itself stupid, but the goal of the plan is pointless. This was an intricate plan put forth by the Beard Band. Are they trying to get rich? Famous? Powerful? Nope, they're just trying to bring the beard back into fashion. Though they hold a club meeting only for people with beards, which Jimmy Olsen tries to infiltrate with little success. But as luck would have it, there's a man on the street selling a beard tonic. And Jimmy goes, sounds legit, and downs it and grows a beard. Then he gets into the hideout and it turns out the tonic salesman is the leader of the group, and the tonic keeps his beard growing until he can get the antidote. Turns out the group plans to poison the whole city so that everyone has a beard. But Jimmy's beard touches the potion and inexplicably reverses the effects, and they all lose their beards. What else do I have to say? Number 1, Lex Luthor's plan to get diabetes. Now, this one's a bit of a cheat because it actually comes from 1978's Super Dictionary, but it's too ridiculous to leave out. The Super Dictionary was basically an educational book that teaches words and math to kids. In one entry it said, when no one was looking, Lex Luthor took 40 cakes. He took 40 cakes. That's as many as 4 tens. And that's terrible. That is terrible. And it's also a great way to get diabetes. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please do us a favor and smack that like button. If you want to see more nerdy videos, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to join the notification squad so you don't miss another video. Until next time, I'm Ron McKenzie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.